Okay, I can realize that when I try to improve my life, I realize I'm oscillating basically between two kind of states. The one where I'm like full of energy, I believe in myself, I'm confident in life and so on. And I move on, but sometimes I don't really necessarily know exactly where to go or what to do because like maybe my memories of what I've done up to now catch me in a way and like show me that, hey, this is your life. How do you want to change that? It's always been like this. And in moments where I feel like a little desperate, I feel I have negative feelings. I have feelings like I'm not worth it, like it's difficult, like I'm not big enough to make big things or things like that, and things seem like very difficult to change. And I realized that anyway, there is. I think the real change must happen in the differentiation between one aspect of ourself, which is basically made up of our feelings and our stories, like memories, and we are stuck in that in a way. That's like a prison, but that's also a big illusion because we're not our story, we're not our past, we're not our emotions, and we can see that because just emotions change. Sometimes we feel great, sometimes we feel like very stuck and desperate, and so we're not our emotions. It's just obvious. But when we're stuck in that, it seems almost impossible to change that. And anyway, it's not always easy to really create real new things in our life because of our memories and our story. So the real, I think, change must happen in the way that we must, like, in a way, separate what we feel we are, which is basically our emotions, how we feel in a given moment, and we really feel this ourself and our life is what we feel, and it's just a feeling, an emotion, something we feel in our body, a sensation. So it's not the reality at all, but we feel like very vulnerable because of that. We are fearful of a lot of things because of that. We don't want to hurt ourselves, and again, it's about feelings and sensation and emotions. So that's not the reality, and that's not ourself. So it's good to know it, but it doesn't really change the fact that we live through that, and it's very difficult to overcome. So I don't think we have to fight against that because that's a fact and that's something we can feel. But we can also experience something different. We have two options. Either we are like identified to these feelings, or we are not, and we are identified to something much broader, much larger, with much more powerful feelings, and we act upon that. How do we go from one to the other? And no matter what, I think we have to realize that both of them do exist, and then to accept I would say, the difficult feelings, and also in the same time perceive that there is something else above. So what I did earlier is that I was feeling my I would say deep negative feelings, emotions that I can feel in my body, I almost in the center of my body, and it's a very physical sensation, so I can locate it in my body. And I can imagine something broader, like an image of myself larger than my body, and which is not reached by those emotions, and so which is completely free, and which can do everything he wants. And I imagine both of them. There is, and the emotion is like maybe the emotion of a small child, a little child, or whatever, or at least someone who feels hurt and needs to be protected. And the bigger image of myself, which is not reached by these emotions, like open his wings, or something like that, a big image of an angel or anything, Superman or whatever, that is just going to protect this person who needs protection, not get hurt anymore. And both of them do exist, and one is taking care of the other so that life doesn't hurt anymore, the one who feels hurt and fragile. And the other one is really living fully his life happily and easily. So I think this, when we focus on that, we can now create in our mind at least another reality, and this reality exists obviously. Both of them exist. So the thing is that it's very difficult when we are stuck in one negative emotion to imagine another kind of reality, and especially when we try to do that, we try to avoid the negative emotion or to make as if it doesn't exist, whereas it does exist. So I think, really being able to imagine both of them, one taking care of the other, moreover, is really a powerful way to say, okay, there is this part and there is also another part, and I decide to focus more on the easiest part of myself, the bigger part of myself, the one which is not reached by negative feelings, the one who is able to do whatever he wants. And I just decide to focus on that. And that's, I think, a habit to develop, to focus on this part of ourselves, because both of them exist. If I can focus more and more on this part and making sure I'm aware that both of them exist, I think things can really change in the end. So that's just, my thought for now, which is, I think, extremely important in order to develop myself and my life. And I will keep you posted on, all these developments. So try that. I think that's really worthwhile. And I'll talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.